Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Heart Next Door podcast, where we explore and dive into maternal health and family wellness. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're here, you're home. I'm your host, Brittany, and I am so excited, thrilled, honored, elated. There's not enough words to describe how I feel about today's guest. I'm going to read her bio, and then we're going to jump right in. Today we have Brittany, aka Farr, with us. Brittany Farr is the founder of B's Beauty Bar and Spa, an esthetician and an instructor who believes that a little lipstick can change a girl's life. Her passion lies in enhancing women's beauty in ways that empower them to walk confidently in every role of womanhood. After graduating from Douglas J. Avita Institute in 2013, B advanced her expertise through mastery training, leadership development, and partnerships with leading beauty brands. In 2017, she opened B's Beauty Bar and Spa in Southfield, Michigan, a safe space that has become a community staple for wellness and self-care. In 2022, B earned her esthetician instructor's license, which inspired the launch of B's Beauty Academy, a training and development space for the next generation of estheticians. That same year, she co-founded Bumble and Bloom, a wellness connection with her two daughters designed to root young girls in both faith and self-care. With over a decade of industry experience, B has built an influential clientele and mentored some of Metro Detroit's most elite estheticians. Beyond her work, she is deeply devoted to her family, her church, and empowering women to follow Christ. Her long-term vision is to elevate the standard of beauty services while becoming a pillar for cosmetology, education, empowerment, and evolution. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I'm so excited. I literally cannot express how excited I am. Why I was so excited to invite you on this platform, because I know that your beauty or impact, if it's inspired and impacted me in the way that it has, I know that everybody needs a little bit of B in their life.
Wow, way to make me start crying
No,
right off the bat, right?
No, seriously, I have to tell you, and I don't know if I've ever, told you this story, but so I had my daughter, about a year ago, exactly a year ago now, a little over a year ago. And when I was healing, as you know, I had a very traumatic birth, and in my healing journey, I was like, oh, wow, this is a lot.
Yeah.
And I knew that in picking up the pieces, I had to find ways to pour into myself again, right? And so I was looking up different things that I could do, different spas. I was like, oh, that'd be so good to go and get a facial, right? Like something to pour into me, right? And so I just so happened to come across your website, and I was like, oh, okay, something about this is like, speaking to me, right? But what really spoke to me was the fact that you offer a membership. So not only can moms or anybody, right, just women in general, not only do you offer women the opportunity to come in and get different services, facials, from facials to waxes to lashes, whatever you need, right? Not only do you offer that, but you also allow them to have like a monthly membership, right? So you can take care of yourself. My package in particular, which it's like I live by it now. I love it. I look forward to it every month. So right, I go in, I get my nails done by Divine, facial by Alex, who's out on maternity leave now.
She'll be back soon.
Yes, we're to miss you, Alex. So facial, I get my also get a wax. I love it, both wax, underarm, and Brazilian wax too. And then you do my eyebrows. And I love it.
Have a little chit chat too.
So
it's like
listen, right? And so before I even met you, before I even went to the spa, I remember just seeing that, and I was like, oh wow, I'm definitely gonna do this. And I saved it, and when I finally like worked up the courage to like take time away from my daughter, like take that big step, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. This Saturday I'm gonna buy the membership, and I'm going to treat myself.
Committing to self-care.
I'm committing to self-care.
I love that.
And so I remember like from the moment I walked in, be like, looking at it on the website is one thing, but like going into the spa is such a beautiful, fulfilling, like nurturing. It's just, it feeds me. It fuels me in so many ways. There's music. I'm going to set the scene for everybody who's never been there, right? You walk in, it's gorgeous. The aesthetics are like so beautiful, like pops of beautiful colors. And you have this music playing in the background. It's like nice. It can be like music, soul child, Sade, you know, it's just a vibe, right? It's just a vibe all the time. And not only do you have that, but there's like this imagery in the background. There's like either girlfriends will be playing or like some show that I love. And I'm just like, this space is everything. I love it here. I never want to leave, right? And then you walk in and there's so many, from the moment you walk in, everybody that's a part of your team is always just like smiling, filled with so much love. Like I love it so much. So, you know, the fact that you said in your bio that you set out to create a safe space, that's what Bee's Beauty Bar has been for me. And I know without a doubt that it's been that for so many other women. So thank you. First of all, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for receiving that and just valuing it. You know, like I really wanted to create that because I also was, you know, had a traumatic afterbirth experience with my second daughter, went through postpartum depression, and just know what it's like to be a mom or a new mom of two, kind of figuring it out and what my identity looks like now, post children and marriage and all of that. And so something that really helped me during that time was filling my cup back up. So making myself look and feel like Brittany, right? I'm like, I know you're in there. Like, I don't feel like her right now, but I know she's in there. And so I need to continue to pour into this. And so I thought of that when I was, you know, kind of putting the concept together for Bee's Beauty Bar of like, you know, I can't be the only one who feel, you know, the only mom who feels like this. And so to know that it is received in such a beautiful way all these years later, because I got my license in 2013. So it's been a while since this vision, you know, kind of came out of me, but God is good because he still is bringing new women in who are just finding out about it and being like, this is for me. So I love that. I love that. What a testimony.
And everywhere I go, I'm always telling people, everywhere I go, I'm always telling people about you. So again, like so excited to have you here. And so can you take us back? I know you said you got your esthetician license and kind of talked a little bit about that, but like, tell us, how did that come to life? Like not only Bee's Beauty Bar, but also your academy and also like Bumble and Bloom, which is so beautiful. I just want to hear more about that.
So I think the first thing that kind of started it was just this movement of empowerment. Because I was at such a lower place before I became an esthetician and just battled a lot of different things, you know, my own young, getting married young, you know, a lot of things that was happening as far as transition in my life. And so I knew enough, even at the young age of, I think I was 19 when I got married and pregnant.
Wow.
I knew enough to know that I wanted to like do something to empower. So I heard that word one day and I was like, empower, what does that mean? And so I think a lot of my journey has been kind of creating things that I wish existed when I was kind of going through that transition. So it was kind of the like, oh, I didn't get this, but I really could have used that. Yeah. And so that's kind of how, you know, the spa came about. I wish I had a space, you know, for me to kind of feel celebrated and feel like everyone knows my name when I come in the door, you know, that whole cheers thing. And then kind of translating that to, you know, empowering as a professional. Me opening my business in 2017, I didn't have any mentors or anyone to kind of glean from. And so because of that, I was like, I really want to be this for people. I really want to embody this so that estheticians can graduate or, you know, finish their program and have a safe space to be able to grow. Because if you really, anytime we're nurtured, we grow, right? Even from being a child. So it's like we all need that and we're all growing even as adults. And so all of the spaces that I have, you know, the 3 businesses and spaces that I have are all through empowerment. And through my daughters, you know, they watch me work most of their life. They see me work. And so I kind of wanted to just change the narrative of like including them more into what I do instead of always being like, oh, I'm always gone. I'm always doing this and this is important. It's like, well, you're so important to me. So how can I bring this a part of what we're doing? And create an opportunity for them. So I was really intentional about like, you know, I don't know what they want to do once they graduate and once they become adults and young women. And I have a son too. I don't know what my children want to do, but I want them to have options. I want them to have so many options to be able to, do this or what mom was doing or do this or go to school, like just to have that platform to be able to really be, the individuals they're trying to be. Grow.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. I love that. And so whose idea, like who came up, especially for your Bumble and Bloom brand?
Yeah.
Was it like a collaborative effort that your daughters come up with the name? Like how involved are they in like, the products? Like tell us
so
more
they
about
are
that.
very involved. So they actually told me they wanted to start a beauty business about 2 years before we actually started anything.
Wow.
So it was always my vision. Of course, I'm a girl mom, right? I'm such a girly girl.
Yeah.
So of course I naturally wanted them to follow my footsteps, but I really, because I know this the work that is behind all of the fun stuff that we do or it looks like on social media, it is work. And so if you're not committed to it, if you don't really love it or have a heart for it, you're going to hate it. It's going to, really just, it's going to diminish. And we see that a lot in the beauty industry, unfortunately, right? People have this talent and want to make the money and do the, business side of it. But then you see where the gaps are in for beauty. For sure. And so because of that, I never pressured them to kind of go into the field that I was going into. But they told me they wanted to actually start like a little lip gloss company. It was the first thing. And I was like, oh, that's cute. Okay. So we talked about different makeup they could do and different options they could do. But I told them to think about it. I was like, really think about it. Mommy works a lot. This is, not as glamorous as it may seem. We kind of looked at different like business models. And I told them a lot of the back end of like, what I do so they can really see like, oh, that's a lot, you know. And then it wasn't until a year after that, I had met a woman who was making products and things like that, and she was hosting like a workshop. And so they were like, I really want to do this workshop and learn how to make like products. So I was like, okay, let's do it. And so they did the workshop. They totally fell in love with it. And it kind of just blossomed from there. Wow. Yeah. And then as far as the name is concerned, it was just, we were thinking of it together, honestly. I love Bumble. I love bumblebees. I'm a very like corny theme person. Everything is like hexagons and honeycombs. And so I thought of the Bumble, and so we were thinking of like words that could go with that and just, kind of express the collaboration that it was. And so they said like Bloom, or we said a lot of different words. I'm like, Bloom, you're growing. That's cute. Bumble Bloom. Okay, I love that. So that's where I started. Yeah.
Wow, how beautiful. I love that you not only poured into them that way, but I also gave them the space to have like that creative input too. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. And going to the piece, I love that you mentioned that you were very honest with them, right?
Yeah.
About how much work goes into it. And so I'm curious from your vantage point, as a mom boss, balancing being a wife, being a mom, and then this beautiful, like 3-time business owner. How do you balance it all? How do you do that?
So, I mean, I think, some days are really good and feel balanced and some days are not. I think I have a really great support system. My husband is very supportive. He always has been, and just, the vision that God has given me and just how pressing it is on me. There's times where I'm like, I just don't want to do this. I just want to do that. And it's like the weight of like, you have to do this. And so it is an assignment to me. I take it very serious. It is, almost like a ministry, like serving women in this way. And so I think that having the support of him and then even my children kind of knowing what it takes, I think they give me a lot of grace in this balance. And so because they give me grace, I'm like, I don't beat myself up when I'm like falling short, because I'm like, I tried. You guys know I really tried. And I'm honest with them. We're very honest with our kids. Our kids are older now. Our oldest is 15, and I have a 13-year-old daughter, and then my son is 10. So we have real conversations with them about, like we have to work to be able to have this type of lifestyle. We could work less, but this is what our lifestyle would look like. And they're like, okay, go to work. Right. You should go to work. I'm fine. Because that's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. And so yes, we have these real conversations with them, and they're able to just kind of give us both grace as we're, just building this out.
Wow. I love that. I don't think I've ever, especially that approach to parenting, like, was that something that you and your husband like came together and decided that you were going to do? Have you always been that way with your kids, or like?
Well, I think since we were together so young, we were high school sweethearts, and so we've been together since I was 15.
Wow. I did
know.
not know that.
I know. I'm 35, so you do the math.
That's life partners for sure.
It definitely is. And we definitely had a ton of different seasons and just up and downs and things over the years. But I think because we were together so young, there were certain things that we knew for sure that we wanted to implement when we were teenagers, because we also came together right from our parents' house. Yeah. So it's like, we're never doing this. We were like, when we get to be parents, we're not doing this. Like, and so we would always just vent to each other about what our moms would do and how we didn't like it and how we're going to start on our own. And we did. But I think once we became parents, we really, I kind of understood some of the things he was coming from as far as parenting, and same with me. And honesty was just such a big thing, because we always would say, why didn't anyone tell us? Like, why didn't anyone tell me? Like, I was one of those teenagers that I was so pressed to be an adult. Like, I was in high school, I had co-ops, I got out of school like half a day so I could go to work. I did this junior and senior year. Wow. Yes. Oh, wow. I didn't do sports. I didn't do like all the fun clubs.
What?
I literally went to work. Wow. Yes. And so no one told me, like, girl, you're going to work your whole life. So slow down. Wheel it back. No one told us some of these things. So I think we just really overly probably communicate with them now about everything. So they're just so prepared. You know, we never want them to feel unprepared like we felt.
Yeah, I love that. And I know that they will definitely thank you for that in the long run.
I hope so.
Definitely, without a doubt. And you said something that I feel like is so relatable. I feel like as a mom, I personally, and I know people who've had that moment so many times where you say, like, nobody told me this. Yeah. Not just in marriage, but in parenthood and adulthood and life. Nobody told me.
And you feel so sad. You're just like, you feel like gypsy, right? Why did I tell me?
Exactly. Wow. Yeah. And so that makes me think about something you shared in the beginning about like how, you know, you came into this journey as an esthetician, and you talked a little bit about like your postpartum journey, how you struggled. And so I'm curious along that veins, just thinking about the things that like nobody prepared us for. Just tell us about your journey, you know, learning that you had to care for yourself, you know, and like, how did you heal and like pour back into yourself? And like, what does self-care look like for you even now in this season?
Yeah, that's good. So I think back then, I was very ambitious. I've always been very ambitious. I told you in high school, right? Okay, so I always just had these big dreams and big goals. And so I think when we had my second daughter, I think I was faced with like the reality of like what my life was at that time versus what I thought it would be. And so not only was there like postpartum, you know, just being a new mom and all of that, but just like the grief of like, wait, we weren't planning this. Like we were young. So this wasn't like I'm going to plan this and this is how it's going to be. You know, this was like oh my goodness, this happened, you know, and I just had my daughter. Wow. I'm just adjusting to that. And now, you know, I have another daughter. They're 18 months apart, exactly 18 months apart. So at like 10 months, I found out I was pregnant again.
Oh my goodness.
So you already know. It was just so there was a lot of emotions there. And so what started as, you know, some emotions, maybe some depression, all of that, spiraled into a full-blown like depression, anxiety, just a very fragile place. So I ended up staying home with my second daughter because I was a store manager at 21 in the store. Yeah, so I was a store manager at a shoe store. When I say I'm ambitious, ambition is like I'm very, very. And so the store that I was managing, I did such a great job, like just turning the store around. It was like one of those stores that was like, oh, that's probably going to close. And I got the numbers up. I hired this team and just did all these things and just like really took it on as my own business. Because at that time I wanted to own a boutique. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but at that time I wanted to be a boutique owner. Okay. And so I ran that little shoe store like it was my boutique. I'm like, oh yeah, girl, come on in. But let me try your shoes. Let me help you try your shoes on. Yeah. And so I was, you know, just kind of on forward of like, you know, still going after my goals and still feel like I'm achieving things. And then this halt kind of came about because the store that I was managing ended up closing. And not only that store, like 16 other stores. And now that store doesn't even exist. So they were like, you know, just downsizing and such. But I had this like, you know, layoff and now pregnancy, and I'm home, and I want to be out in the world. I lived in Chicago at that time, so I wanted to be like living my Chicago life, young, and I'm just home. And so, I have all these emotions and not a way to really process them. And so it started to just manifest, right? Because when we're in like isolation, the enemy loves isolation, right? Because he can feed us anything that he wants. And so that's what happened. I literally, we didn't have any family, didn't have a lot of friends there. And so I'm home with these two babies, and like all day I just have all of these intrusive thoughts and just like, just sadness and like, oh, you're never going to have your business. You're never going to do this. You're just going to be a mom. All you do is watch Barney all day. Like, it was Barney back then. And I'm like, I hate this for me. Like, this is just not what I want. I have so much inside of me that I want to, give out. And so it spiraled very, very to dark place. And I actually would have panic attacks. I would have this like foggy anxiety, like headache that was like never ending. So I always felt like lightheaded and like just anxious and just all of these like symptoms. And so because I didn't know anything about postpartum like in depth, and because I didn't know about anxiety and all that, I was thinking something was medically wrong with me. I was like, oh, I'm dying. Like, now I'm going to die. Like, great. Great. Like, I haven't done anything that I wanted to do. So I was convinced that like I'm gonna die. Like something's on my heart. It just keeps like beating like crazy. I had all these doctors in Chicago like running all these tests on me. I would like go to the doctor and be like limping in like my heart. Mind you, I'm like, what was this 2020? This is 2012. I'm 22 years old.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm really like, oh my God, my heart. Like literally, I never will forget. I had a doctor's appointment with one of my daughters, actually at the same time. So you know how it is when you have small kids. You take them at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Child, I got so much anxiety with that double stroller in that hospital, taking them, because we also had just one car because it was Chicago. Yeah. So I also felt very trapped because it's like my husband worked in the suburbs. So it made sense for him to drive the car. I'm taking the train. Yeah. But here I am taking the train with these two kids in this double stroller, and just, it was a lot. Yeah. And so anyway, I had this meltdown at the pediatrician. They ended up taking me over to the emergency. Yes, I was like, help. I'm like trying to get the onesie off for the checks. And I'm just like, I feel lightheaded. So anyway, was having all these symptoms, thinking that, something was wrong with me, when really I just needed support, community, faith. I really needed all of these things. Yeah. And so I started to just really talk to God at that point. It was one of my lower points in life. And I just started to talk to God and pray and be like, help me. Like, I don't know what's going on with my body, but I really need help. And so I ended up calling my mom, and she kind of knew what was going on. She was obviously here in Detroit. And she's like, why don't you just come home for a little bit, and, I'll help you with the girls. You can just take a break or whatever, and, just take a little break. I'm like, okay, great. So I packed up my heart monitor, everything. I'm like, well, what about my heart monitor? Because I had to wear it for like 30 days. So I'm just like, and it kept beeping, and that was stressing me. I was like, why is it beeping?
I had to wear one too after my daughter's birthday.
Really?
It gave me more anxiety. Yes.
Like, this is not actually working for me.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, girl, me and my heart monitor, the girls, we came on down to Detroit, and we stayed with my mom. And immediately when I came to her house, I just felt this like, wow. And so I just remember being like, oh my gosh, I can like relax. Like, I'm in like my mom's house. And my mom and I, we really didn't have the strongest relationship then, but it was still home. Yeah, she still was home. So I was just like, yes, I just need help, Yeah. And so during that time of me, like really, I think it was also a surrender moment of like, I was trying to hold up this, this posture and this ambition and all of these expectations in Chicago. And now I'm home, and now I can just like breathe. Yeah. And so during that surrender time is when I feel like the Lord starts to speak to me of like what I needed to do to kind of pick the pieces up. Wow. And so every day I would like do devotions and read my Bible and pray. I kind of, thought about being an esthetician. And at that time, esthetician was like not a common thing like it is now. Oh my gosh, girl. 2013, people were like, what do you want to do? They didn't even know how to say it, let alone like it being
Yeah.
a career. Like
Yeah.
for at that point in time, if you weren't doing hair in a salon, like what are you doing? You know,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
skincare. I mean, no,
Yeah.
not really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I explored the school that I ended up going to, just did a tour on a whim, and just the peace and like just the ambiance of the industry and just having this very serene moment to care for someone and just creating that and then also receiving that. I was just like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, this is it. You know, this is it. And so I remember when I started my program, I was just this like fragile girl, just off this heart monitor, barely off this heart monitor. You know, I stayed with my grandfather at the time. And my plan was, when I was there, was to do the program, which was 4 months, and I was going to go back to Chicago. Well, once I got started, in the first couple of days, they were like, you know, these hours don't translate to Chicago. You would have to do additional hours. You know, some of them will. You have to do additional hours, and there'll be another test to take for, you know, Illinois.
Yeah.
And so I had to make a really tough decision at that time to, you know, tell my husband, like, I can't come back there.
Oh my goodness. What was that like?
Girl. Well,
I know you laid
so there was I think at that time too, I was just in survival mode.
For
so
sure.
It was really, and I hate to be like this, but it was a very selfish decision, and I really did not consider how he was going to feel. I was like, I am dying. Like at that point, I'm still like, I may die tomorrow, and you know, I need to do this for me. Like this is important to me. Like I know that he was like working very hard. He's in the trucking industry, and so he had, you know, just really like just found his niche, found his community there. Was working his way up the ladder as far as, you know, career wise. He would say that was like the peak of his career at that time.
Wow.
And so he was very, very, I think disappointed, you know, frustrated. He didn't even know what esthetician was either. So he's just like, you want to do what? You know, just really didn't understand. So yeah, but I mean, even though he had those emotions, he still came. So he still, you know, it was to the point where I couldn't even come back to pack things. I was so fragile. I couldn't even go into grocery stores. Like grocery stores, like overwhelmed me, like loud noises. It was just, like when I say fragile, like a very, very fragile time. And so the thought of like going back, packing all of our stuff up, and then moving it back to Detroit, I was like, I can't. So I was like, not only are me and the girls, you know, wanting to stay here, but I can't come get that stuff either. So he literally had to pack up our entire 2-bedroom apartment, move it to Detroit, quit his job, and just kind of trust that God was really moving the way I said that he was. So yes, that's kind of how it started, was like just getting the pieces back together. I feel like everything had to just go to the wayside, and then slowly but surely I started to like pick up the pieces.
And look, you know, you said something so beautiful, like you just had to trust that God would, you know, and look, you know, like how many years later is that? And it's so beautiful what you built, and I'm just so thankful to God that He blessed you and your marriage and like your family through all of that. Wow. And so much that you said is just so relatable, you know? And it's so beautiful. I want you to know that, like, you know, the way you described coming home to your mom and like having that safe space and feel like you could just relax and like let go, like that's what you've given to me. That's what really seriously. Like that's what you've given to me, right? Like I'm almost like you were in Chicago, not in an extreme sense where I feel overwhelmed, but like I don't have any family here. You know? And like when I walked into your spot, that's what I felt.
Wow.
I can relax. So I'm just saying, like, I'm so thankful that you listen to God because you've in turn given that. And I'm sure not just to me, but like to so many other women. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Yes, girl, she got some pictures. I know.
That's okay. Wow. It's so encouraging. That's so encouraging because it is a lot. It is a lot. And I think that there's been just a lot of like sacrifice. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Speaking of supporting the baby.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
No, yes. Thank you so much. Seriously, that is Wow, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was just saying, like, thank you for just, affirming that and saying that, because I think that, when you've been going for so long, since high school, sometimes it gets overwhelming, and you kind of, I don't want to say lose sight, but like that is what it's about, and I feel like it's easy for any entrepreneur to get so wrapped up in what they're doing, the operational side of it, the financial side of it, just all of the things that are not fun,
for
right?
Sure,
outside of providing the experience or, the product or whatever it is business you have. But so many people get so wrapped up in that part that it diminishes the experience, of a person who's either a consumer or, a part of the community.
For sure.
So I just appreciate you saying that, because I'm just like, wow, it's really received,
Definitely.
So I appreciate you.
Yes, for sure. Like words, there aren't enough words to, like, my husband knows how much I love Sweetie Bar. So yes, thank you. Truly, thank you. And so what advice along that lines of, like, being an entrepreneur and the way you built that your beautiful businesses, your beautiful vision, like, what would you say to an entrepreneur? Maybe she's a mom, a woman who has a vision, right? But like she feels she's at that point, maybe where you were, right? Like feeling overwhelmed, feeling stretched thin, not knowing like what to do or like if it's the right choice to make. Like, what advice would you give to them?
That's good. I would say for a woman like that, I would say to take your time, because I feel like because we have social media and because everything feels like it's just right at our fingertips, because it is essentially. Like one night you could just blow up and just, become a millionaire. Because we see that and because it's our new norm, there's so many women that are like forcing things and just putting so much pressure on themselves. And really, in my opinion, as a believer, just going outside of the timing, God's timing for things. Had I rushed things, because I actually did rush, to get a suite as soon as I graduated, not high school, but beauty school. And it was on my time. I didn't even have clients. Like, I didn't even have, clients to come in. But I was so eager to just become an entrepreneur and just do the things that I wanted to do. And so I think, there's just so much beauty in just taking your time and really, allowing God to show you everything that you need to see before you take this leap of faith. Everyone is so ready to just step out on faith, like, oh, I'm just going to do it. And it's like, if you're being obedient, for sure. And God is going to cover us either way. But what I'm saying is, now I try to pace myself. If you think about your business, or whatever you're looking to birth, as like a marathon, it's slow and steady. It's not a fast thing. We do things fast sometimes, and things don't hold on. They don't stick. You don't want to do it anymore. You don't have the capacity to do it anymore. Like, there's so many different variables, that happen. And so to be able to really run the race and really create legacy and really, set the path, the way you want, and really sustain yourself for a lifetime or as long as you want to do the business, it takes time. And that's okay, because there's so much beauty in the journey to get there, so just pace yourself. I would tell her, just pace yourself, whatever season you're in, if you're growing, whether it's in the beauty industry or whatever you're doing, learn as much as you can. Be a student. I still like learning. Even at this point, I feel like I don't even know anything really. Like, I'm like, do I even know anything? But it's because there's so much to know, so I'm constantly like taking classes. I have a program that I'm actually starting tonight. I'm doing an orientation for, but it's going to like help with like business and just mindset and coaching. Like, really just like do the work and really know what you're doing before you put everything out there,
I love that.
You have time.
I love that. Yeah. I received that. And you're right. It's not, that advice isn't glamorized,
No,
everybody focuses on the destination, or like, especially with social media, right? We see the highlight reels, we see the success overnight, but we don't see the journey. And know to take our time. So I definitely received that. And I know that that's going to help a lot of people. Yes. And so tell us, what's been your proudest moment since launching your businesses?
That's a good question. My proudest moment. Wow. I would have to say, this past summer, my daughter worked with me as a receptionist at the spa. She was hired in through this program through the city of Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
And so they partner with different like youth in the area, and then they can work for the company, and they get paid, and then all these
Is
skills.
it like Next Up 313?
It's GDYT.
Okay.
It's probably similar to
Yeah,
that. I'm sure it's similar to that.
Yeah.
So I think that was just seeing her up there and being like, this is your first job experience, your first real job experience.
Yeah.
And it gets like you get to do it here at the company that I've established. I get to come out and see your face.
Yeah.
And hear you talk to our clients
Yeah.
and learn how to even, become a confident woman, It was a very proud moment. She was there for about 8 weeks. But yeah, I was very proud of like, wow, what I've built has like impacted her life now. Yeah. And so I think that was the thing that I was just like, wow, you're really doing something here.
Right. Listen, not only was she working, but she's also a business owner too. Yeah.
Wow. I think I was very proud of
for sure. Moment. I could see that. I mean, even that just, that would bring me to tears too. Seeing my baby.
See your baby.
Yes.
Your first child. You're like, oh my God, you're working here. Yes. And she'd come with her little office. Because like I said, my husband, he works nights, and so he would be the one to drop her off at work. Mm-hmm. And so I'd already be there. And so when I come and I see what she put together, and I'm like, look at you look cute for work. I'm like, just what she thought about would look good, or, her wanting to like put her best foot forward. Yeah. Her talking to the, clients, just growing, really growing. And it's like, wow, this is really cool. This is a really proud moment.
I love that. I love that so much. Wow. Okay. So, as we start to wrap up and close again, like I have to just reiterate how grateful I am for you and just for this space that you've created. And so, you mentioned a word that I just love so much, and I feel like it embodies so much of what I strive for. You mentioned the word legacy.
Yeah.
And so, I'd love to know, what does that mean to you, and what legacy do you hope that you're leaving, not just for your daughters and your son and your family, but just for women and for everyone?
Wow. So I always think of legacy and impact going together. Mm-hmm. Like, what impact are you making? What difference are you making? Mm-hmm. My father, he passed about 8 years ago, but he was a school teacher. Mm-hmm. And he taught in DPS for 28 years.
Wow.
And his mother was a school teacher as well.
Wow.
And so seeing, like, my grandmother passed before I was born, but my father, like, seeing his, like, celebration of life and just all the students that he impacted and just how everyone was just like, he was like a dad to me. And I'm thinking, how's he a dad to you? He's a dad to me. Like, like, how is he? Because I talk to my dad every day, all day. And so to hear like everyone go up there and be like, we talk every day, all day. And it's like, how was he talking to all y'all every day of the hour? Mm-hmm. But just to know the impact that he left, just the impression, him just being like so optimistic and so kind and just really exuberating like God's love, just being like a symbol of God's love here on earth. And so that's what I think about when I think of legacy. Is just like impact. I think that as much as I want to be like, oh, generational wealth and all these things, like, I mean, that's cool. Right. That's so cool. And I do hope to be able to have those things in place and all of that for my children as well. Mm-hmm. But what is more important, I think, is just how you're making people feel. And as believers, taking it further of like, are you showing ways of Christ? Are you bringing people to him? Are you reflecting, how he walked and how he was when he was here on earth? So I think that is what I think about of legacy, of just like making your mark and creating an impact and just being a light in the world in any space, whether it's, your career, at the grocery store, like just always having this light, that is impacting everyone that you meet.
Yeah. So, light. Wow. Well, that's what I think of when I think of you. That's what I think of. So, yes, you definitely embody that.
Thank you.
You should definitely embody that. So thank you so much. And now tell everyone, where can they get some more of the light that you have to offer? How can they connect with you?
Wow. They can connect with us at Beast Beauty Bar and Spa. Mm-hmm. So we're located in Southfield at 10 Mile Southfield Road. We've been there for 9 years. And so we offer a wide range of services. The memberships is really awesome. And I love that you take advantage of that too. Because it's so convenient. It makes it like super convenient to just come in and automate your self-care.
Yeah.
So we have that space. And then you also could follow us on our Academy page, which is Beauty Academy. And then our Bumble and Bloom page is Bumble and then it's X Bloom on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, those are the 3 ways that you can connect with me.
So listen, and you have to, if you are in the Detroit area, you have to see it in person. You have to go to B's Beauty Bar. You will not regret it at all. So thank you, B.
Thank you for having me. This was wonderful.
Of course.
Wow.
Thank
So
you,
cool.
everyone. We'll see you next time on The Heart Next Door.